welcome to the Sanctuary, a safe space to speak from the heart. I'm your host, Israel, and my guest today is super. Like, I've been trying to make this happen. So, Nathalie Plamondon-Thomas, thanks for coming to the Sanctuary today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be on your show, Israel.
Right. So Natalie is a confidence expert, the founder and CEO of Think Yourself Academy, international best-selling author of 15 books on success, communication, wellness, and empowerment. Like, you have the chops. And I saw you were gonna have this talk for Canfit Pro, and I was like, I need to talk to Natalie one-on-one. So thank you for saying yes and for coming to the sanctuary.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah. So let's just start with think yourself. How did that come about? Why think yourself?
So maybe if I take you back about 12 years ago, I was just trying to build my business. So I wanted
Mm.
to become a professional speaker. So first thing I did is I made a video reel, like we had three cameras, one for the wide angle, one for the close up, one from the back to see the large audience. But the problem, Israel, is that there was only 20 people in the room. So we we kept asking them to move from one section to another so that
Yeah.
when we put all the segments together, it would look like there was a large audience. And it worked.
Mm.
It got me booked. So I got a phone call from an organization who wanted me to train their sales force, and they asked for my rate. I didn't have a corporate rate. So I go, 250. So they say, okay, so for the 4 hour training, that would be 1,000. I almost choked because I meant 250 for the whole thing. So I said, yes, that's correct, $1,000. And I got the contract. And when I
Mm.
hung up the phone, I should have been excited. But the truth is, I felt like a fraud. I was hearing this
Oh,
nasty voice in my head telling me, "You're not a real professional speaker. You don't deserve a
right.
$1,000 paycheck for the afternoon." See, the video I had made to make the audience look bigger than it was, and my made up corporate rate, none of it was real. I was just trying to look more than I
Mm.
really was because I felt like just me was not enough. So that negative self talk in my head, and by the way, it was kind of right because the voice was telling me, "What? You want to be
This
a
is what you
speaker
do.
like in English? You don't even speak English. I'm French, right?" I
Mm.
remember teaching a yoga class back then. And, at the end of a yoga class, if you've been, everybody's laying on the floor and relaxing. And I was telling them to relax their body, relax their face, relax their jaw. And I want them to put their tongue on the roof of their mouth. So I said to everyone, put your thumb behind your tits. And then everybody started to laugh. And I didn't even know why. And apparently I was not pronouncing the word teeth very well. But anyway, the voice in my head was right to tell me, what? You wanna write books in English? Are you kidding me? You don't even speak English. So it didn't matter. What mattered is that
Mm.
on that day, sitting in my office, feeling like a fraud, that's when I realized I need to shut down that voice inside my head. And I made it my
Mm.
life purpose to change the negative self-talk. So I started to study neuroscience. I spent the last 10 years creating a system to reprogram that voice inside our head. And that's the system I
Mm.
shared in my international #1 best-selling books. That's the system that's at the base of all my online courses, and the system I share on all the stages around the world and one-on-one with all my coaching clients. That's the system I use.
Mm. I mean, so you were your own first client in a way.
That's right. That's right. We trash talk ourselves all the time, but we don't talk
Mm.
to other people like that. Like, are you walking around telling people, "Oh, hi, you look fat in these jeans." "Oh, hey, you're starting your
Mm.
own business. It's never going to work. You're not good enough." Like, we don't say
Mm.
that to other people, but we talk to
Yes.
ourselves like that. Why is that?
Yes.
This is not
Yeah.
making any sense.
You say that and you actually, like, it forces me to sit back and think you don't do that at all, but you do it to yourself pretty much all the time, right?
That's right.
Why do you think that is what happens usually with most people?
So what happens is that people are not knowing the power of their brain, the power of the unconscious mind, and how it works. So maybe let's do a quick brain 101.
Mm.
I like I like everything about the brain. I love so many parts. I just did recorded this morning a blog on the on that little piece right behind at the bottom of the hippocampus, the amygdala. Love that part of the brain. It's your fight or flight response. Now, the parts that I think we should share today are the logical mind and the unconscious mind. So let's talk about the logical mind. Your logical mind can handle 5 to 9 pieces of information at a time. That's kind of cool. We can multitask, right? So you can grocery shop at the same time that you're on a meeting on your phone in your headphone, and still at the same time keep your daughter from falling off the cart, and still notice the guy at the back of the store that's checking out the girl in blue in the seafood department. You can do all that at the same time. But have
Mm.
you ever noticed, Israel, let's say you're driving to a new address, okay?
Mm.
Beautiful day, music is on, windows are down, and you're getting closer to that new address, and you start looking at the numbers on the houses. Have you ever caught yourself having to lower the volume on the radio?
Ah.
Right? Why is that? That lowering the volume will make you see the numbers better. It's because 5 to 9 pieces of information is not that great after all. It gets overwhelmed very quickly. And research shows that 70% of our thoughts are negative. So living
Oh.
at a logical level is not that great. We're
Mm.
constantly just trying to catch up. You're just you're just working hard, and then you've got your goal and you want to build your business. So then you've got your goal, and then you're working. You get up at 5 a.m., you have clients until 10 p.m., you still have to take your kids to school and sport in between your meetings. And oh, you have to start a podcast and you have to post on social media. Yeah, now you need an account on Clubhouse, and you work hard and you're exhausted. You have
Mm.
zero life balance. You still have paycheck to paycheck, and you feel like you're getting further and further and further from your dream life.
Mm.
It is like you're trying to go to Halifax and you're in an aircraft that's flying to Vancouver. You're trying to go to New York
Mm.
City, but you're in an aircraft that's flying to LA. It's never going to work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, "Teach me, how do I get off that aircraft?" And I say,
Mm.
"No, stay on the aircraft. Talk to the pilot and say, 'Hey, bud, do you mind turning around? Because that's where I'm going.'" Imagine
Mm.
how fast you're going to get there once the pilot is on board. And that pilot is the other part of the brain that I'm really excited about. It's the unconscious mind. The
Mm.
unconscious mind can handle 2.3 million pieces of information every second. And I will
That's
repeat that.
wow.
5 to 9 for the logical
Right.
mind,
Right.
2.3 million every second for the unconscious mind. That's where the power is. So we
Mm.
need to teach people how to talk to the pilot, right?
Mm.
That's how we do it. So how do we talk to that pilot? So this pilot is like a personal assistant in your head,
Mm-hmm.
standing with a notepad, writing down everything that you say or think, and
Mm.
makes it happen. The problem is, Israel, people wake up in the morning, they look at themselves in the mirror and they go, "I'm so tired. I'm so stressed out. I think I'm gaining weight." So then the
Mm.
personal assistant writes it down. Tired, stressed out, gaining weight. I got this. Tired. I know I'm going to keep her awake all night. She's not going to be able to sleep. She's going to be really tired in the morning. Check.
Mm.
Stressed out. What can I do for this? Oh, I know. I'm going to delete a very important appointment in her calendar. Ooh, that's going to be stressful. Check. Gaining weight, gaining weight. What can I do for that? Oh, that's an easy one. I can find a chocolate bar, something deep fried for her tea today. And if all fails, more wine tonight. Check. So your personal assistant is constantly listening and make it happen for you. So you have to be very careful what you tell your
Mm.
personal assistant.
That is almost like relearning how you relate with yourself.
Mhm.
And just thinking about that, it can be a bit difficult. Like, do you find that with some of your clients?
So what happens is that sometimes we try um, to we have good intention, and we try to say what we don't want anymore. And more people talk in that sense with what they're going away from than what they want. So my clients come to me all the time and they say, "Oh, I don't want to be stressed anymore. I don't want to be impatient with my kids. I don't want to rush everywhere and I don't want to be broke." So then your personal assistant writes it down: stressed, rush, impatient, broke. Even if you said, "I don't want to," like close your eyes for a second. So
Mm.
unless you're listening to the podcast while driving, don't close your eyes. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. But if you're just okay at home, just close your eyes for a second. And now, with your eyes closed,
Mm.
do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes Benz. Do not visualize Mickey Mouse wearing a yellow tuxedo standing on top of a pink Mercedes Benz. And you can reopen your eyes. Did you see it? Right? You saw it.
So you have to think of where you want to go. You have to think of the destination, not what you are running away from.
Exactly. Absolutely. We want to say what we want. Like if you hire a contractor, because see that Mickey Mouse on a pink Mercedes Benz, I said do not visualize, but the brain has to process the whole information anyway before it can
Mm.
negate it. And by this time, it's already on the clipboard, and the personal assistant focusing
Mm.
on it. Oh yeah, I got this on my list right there. So if you tell your contractor that is painting your kitchen, I would like you to paint my kitchen not blue. Well, what color do you want? Right?
Right,
Because now your
right.
contractor is going to build your kitchen. And then when it's time to paint, they're going to say, "Oh, yeah, what color did she want again? Oh, yeah, she said something about blue." Blue it is. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have
Mm-hmm.
to say what we want, not what you don't want. And to your question, you said, is it difficult? Do you find it difficult with people? For
Mm.
me, it's not, because that's what I do. I'm trained. I'm like,
Right.
I've got the tools like a dentist. You know how people go to the dentist and it's okay. Everybody
Mm.
eats food, it gets stuck, and we have cavities sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a cavity, you're not going to say, "Okay, I'm going to brush my teeth really, really well and floss, take the mouthwash, and hope that the cavity goes away." Well,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go to the dentist. The dentist has special tools. They'll do the fillings and then you'll be clear. And now, if you continue to brush your teeth really, really well and floss, you will
Mm.
avoid the next cavity. The problem is
Mm.
that sometimes people are stuck. They have these cavities and they do everything right. They do their affirmations in the morning, they work out, they eat well, they meditate, they do everything and they're positive, and they're like, "Why am I still stuck? Why do I
Mm.
do the reverse of what I know I should be doing? Why am I
Mm-hmm.
not succeeding? What's going on? Well, maybe there's old cavities, and it's, reprogramming a GPS on an airplane that's going the wrong direction is easy. You push the button, you change the address.
Mm-hmm.
Reprogramming the unconscious mind is not that easy to do this yourself at a logical level, because at a logical level, you only can handle 5 to 9 pieces at a time. It needs to be done at an
Right.
unconscious level. That's what I do. But there's
Mm.
something that you can do though, because if you're listening to this right now, you might be thinking, "Oh, I'm doomed. Oh my gosh. There's no way I can do this by myself." There are
Mm.
things you can do. So I'm going to give you a tip. It's a two-step technique that will work to start the process, right? So it's
Okay.
like it's like a supercharged toothbrush I'm giving you. Let's say, right? That will start getting, or like a crowbar that would start lifting the countertop in the kitchen, kind of, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you've heard of affirmations before. Have
Yeah.
you? Yeah. So a lot of people do affirmations. The problem with affirmations, and I'm sorry to say this, they don't work if you don't believe them. So
Oh.
so if I work with the Think Yourself Thin program with clients that are highly overweight, it's not going to work for me to say, "Okay, look at yourself in the mirror, smile, and say, I am thin." Because their personal assistant's like, "Oh, no, we're not." Or if I work
Mm-hmm.
with the Think Yourself Wealthy program, that's a program, and I work with clients that are in deep financial trouble. I'm not going
Mm.
to say, "Okay, put your hands on your hips and just say, I am rich." Because their personal assistant's like, "No, we're not. I'm not listening to this. We must just be watching a vampire movie. Vampires don't exist. I'm not writing this down. This is not for me." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
first step of the two-step technique
Mm.
is whenever you hear a nasty thought in your head and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Ooh, this is not serving me." So you hear yourself say, "Oh, so stressed out all the time." Then you realize you just said that and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I was on Israel podcast the other day listening to this French girl that couldn't hardly speak English. And then she said something about a personal assistant. And now I just told my personal assistant I wanted to be stressed out. What can I do? Here's what to do. Okay, calm down. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. You hear yourself say, I'm so stressed out. Step number one, you repeat what you just heard in the past. So you're not going to go around and say, oh, no, I am calm, because your personal assistant is not going to listen to this. You're going to say, I used to be stressed out. So you're going to repeat it in the past. So, oh my gosh, I am so bad with technology. Wait, I used to think that I was bad with technology, right? So then you repeat it in the past. So now your personal assistant is like, oh yeah, bad with technology. I've got this on my list right here. Yeah, that's right. She's talking to me. Now, why are we talking about this in the past? Are we done with this? Now it's time for step two. Step two is a progressive statement. A progressive statement starts with I am willing to learn or I'm in the process of. So, step one, you hear yourself say, I'm so stressed out. Wait, step one, I used to be stressed out all the time. Step two, now I'm in the process of building a balanced life for myself. Now I'm willing to learn how it feels to stay calm. So now your personal assistant is like, oh yeah, I got this on my list, stressed out, but what are we talking about this in the past? Are we done with this? Oh, okay, we're not doing this anymore. Now we're willing to learn how to stay calm. Now we're in the process of becoming or building a balanced life. Okay, I got this. I'm putting that on the list. So this is your two-step technique, and use it every day, 50,000 times a day, because we have so many thoughts, right? Like between 50 and 80,000 thoughts per day, and 70% of these are negative. So that's 31 thoughts every second. That's negative. So use the two-step technique all the time. You hear yourself say, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to be like this." Oh, wait a minute. What did I just say? I used to think that I could never be like that. Now I'm willing to learn how I can change and become whatever I want to be, right? How's that?
Well, those are powerful tools, and again, you've done this for years and years. But someone that's just hearing this for the first time is like, "Why have I not thought of that?" Because it makes sense. So when you're thinking, I used to think this way," sure, maybe, but if you don't have that additional step, you're also still stuck. So
The
you
progressive statement, yes.
exactly. You have to be willing to go one step further and say, okay, I'm going to put in the work. I'm willing to do the work to get to this place.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so refreshing. That's so refreshing. But let's, the name itself, Think Yourself, it's, to me, once I saw that, I said that was really empowering, because when you think of like, going, I'm coming to you as a client, I'm more or less just saying, okay, this is my problem here, you fix it. But you are putting it back to me by saying, I have the capacity, I have the capability, I have the power within me
Uh-huh.
to think of myself to be this person I want to be. And I think that's so refreshing. And, when you see, okay, but I have these tools in my hand, I can use these things to do these things I need to do to get to where I want to be. It's really empowering.
Absolutely. My ultimate premise, and it is my tagline actually, if I show you my business card, it says, "You are awesome." So that's my premise. Everybody is awesome. We all have a brain. And you know that there is a thing as such as the Olympics of the smart people, like Olympics for the brain and memory tests, and some people win these Olympics, the
Mm,
smartest people in the world. They can memorize 200 faces and names in like less than a minute, or a shuffled deck of card in
mm,
specific order in a minute. And like the people that win these games, they have studied their brains,
mm.
to figure out what's very special about them, and they must be absolutely amazing. And you know what they found out, Israel?
What?
Their brain is average.
Oh,
Their brain is average. This is great news because I'm average, right?
right, 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 right,
Uh,
right,
so
right.
so that means I have a brain. Everybody has a brain, and if you're listening to this, more likely you have a brain. Because- right? Unless you're a dog sitting in the car next to you, you still have a brain, and maybe you're listening to this as well. But I'm just saying that we can all achieve amazing things. We
Mm,
have everything we need inside. It's like we have this drawer with all the answers that we need. Everything is there, or the
mm,
capability to go acquire the skills that we might not have, right? So
mm,
we've acquired a lot of tech skills in the past 2 years, right? We've moved our business to online. A lot of people did that. Luckily, I
mm,
did that 4 years ago. So when the pandemic hit, I thought, oh my gosh, how can I help people do this? Because I've moved my business to online 4 years ago. And when everybody started to want to be online, I created all these online courses on how I had done it, because I thought, how can I serve? What can I do to help? Because I've done that years ago. I know. I've There's no need for people to make all the mistakes that I've made because I've made them all. So I'm like, let's help people fast track their success, and then get the think yourself a business pro, and think yourself a tech pro, think yourself a marketing pro. So that would help people to skip some steps as far as technology. But we all had a lot of knowledge already in our
mm,
drawer, or the capability to go get the skills that we need in order to face anything. But inside this drawer where all the answers are, there's a lot of stuff that's accumulated, a lot of crap, a lot of stress,
mm,
a lot of events that cause for us to feel a certain way, and powerful emotion like anger, fear, hurt, sadness, guilt. Bad habits are created, right? Or
mm,
negative
mm,
self-talk, or limiting beliefs, things like, oh, I'm not good enough, or um, you have to work hard for your money, or when you make more money you spend more money, so you always live paycheck to paycheck, or I will
mm,
always gain weight at Christmas, or when I lose weight I always gain it back. Like, there's so many limiting beliefs that we all have, and it's not serving us. So all this stuff is accumulated in the drawer, and the events of the day are there as well. And let's say that you're going through something stressful at work,
mm.
um, and you are at the counter chopping vegetables. Your daughter comes behind you and she says, "Hey, mom," and you turn around and you go, "What?" And then you're like, "Oh, what did I just do?" In your drawer, you have the answer. You wanted to say, "Yes, sweetie, what can I do for you?" You know that, but why did you answer with this emotion that was right on top of the drawer? It's because there was some very stressful other situation, and bills to pay, or somebody that that is sick, or you taking care of an elder, or a child. There's a lot of things that are in the drawer. So we
Mm.
respond with this. So we need to do some cleanup. We need to let go of all this stuff. And that's what I do. The cleaning up, like doing the fillings. Yeah.
Wow, I love that we're kind of always going back to the dentist because it makes sense when you keep it that simple and you see what's going. Okay, you brush your teeth, but you can have cavities, so you go to these experts to take you to where you need to be and give you the right things you need to do and actually show you this is how you brush your teeth this way and that way. It must be fulfilling for you, but something that comes to mind is you help a lot of people. How do you take time for yourself, right? Like you mentioned earlier, you have full days. How do you take time for yourself, Natalie?
I have to say that, one, I do love what I do. So this is my calling. Since I was a little girl, I've been wanting to help people. That's what I wanted to do. And how everybody wanted to be an actress, or or a singer, or a pop star, or whatever when they were kids. I didn't. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to coach the actresses. You know what I mean? Like, I want
Mm,
to, like I that's always been my dream. So for me to work with people is so fulfilling that I love
mm,
that. Now, do I work um, do I work 70-hour week? No, I don't, because I've learned to work smart. I When I started my business, I was working really hard, and I was putting the time in, and I was doing all the mistakes that you can think of. And I was successful. I was making a lot of money and I hated my life. And I was like, is that it? Wow, becoming an entrepreneur and oh wow, I'm making tons of money, but I never have time to spend it. I never spend time with the kids. I never have time for my husband and my life sucks. Are you kidding me? And I could see my friends going on holidays. I'm like, I can't even take a day off. Are you kidding me? How
Hmm.
are they doing this? And now I've learned to work smarter. And that's why I've created some other courses. I'm a confidence expert. I'm not a business expert. I'm not a tech expert. I'm not a marketing expert. But as I was building my confidence business as a person that works with trauma, with PTSD, with deep stuff that I help people get rid of, I built a business. So somehow I'm kind of good at making money. And I have figured out ways to not work that hard, but to work smarter. So created a lot of automation in my business, a lot of pre-recorded products so that I don't have to be there all the time. Israel, I only work 9 months a year. I don't work
Mm.
a year. I get up really early because I have lots of clients. I was one of my clients, a doctor in Scotland. I saw him at 6 a.m. So I start at 6. I get up at 5 to exercise, and then I work maybe until 3 or 4, and then at night I still work because I go teach fitness classes at night.
Mm.
I do have a full life. I love it though, and I take a month off at Christmas, and I take 2 months off during the winter, and we spend the winter in Palm Desert. And I used to not be able to take a day off, and now I figured it out. So I'm sharing how I did it with people, and then I sit by the pool for 2 months and I look at my phone and oh, I just made $200 for a course. I just made $700 for something else. And then money keeps coming in because I
Mm.
figured it out. So what do I do to take care of myself is I set up a business that works for me with lots of
Mm.
leverage, lots of automation, and still lots of personalization as well. I do believe that when you take care of your clients well, because not
Mm.
everything, like it's not like oh the machines are taking over the world, like you can't automate everything. So you still have this level of personalization that will keep clients coming back, and that
Mm.
I think these are kind of the sweet spots. There's a fine line between too automatic and an only personalized, which is what I was doing years ago, and I was exhausted. So
Mm.
now I've found a good life, I think. So that's what I do for me is I set it up so that I can take 3 months off a year, so I don't work that hard.
3 months a year. That's so nice. And you've worked and put things in place to have this ability to take the time off that you need to refresh, replenish yourself, and then give back to these people that trust you. Let's talk about the books. What do you love about writing? Because you just keep keep writing.
So it did start with writing because I have I've always liked the words. I used to own a newspaper back in the days and a printing business, and I was a reporter, always loving the writing medium as a medium. And then I realized that potentially I could write in English when I studied English a little bit more, and uh, I have to say though that writing in English was really hard for me. So I did not really write any books. I spoke them. So my first three
Oh.
books, I wrote them. I wrote the first. Actually, I wrote the first two. It
Mm.
took me about 3 years each because uh, Spanish is my second language. English is my third language. I'm French.
Oh.
So for me to write in English, it was just like, are you kidding me? So
Right.
my first two books were like a bit of a nightmare. And then my third book was my first number 1 bestseller, actually, Think Yourself Thin. What I
Mm.
did is I was giving conferences because I like to speak better than writing. So I
Mm.
was giving these conferences. I recorded myself doing these workshop. The workshop was called Think Yourself Thin.
Mm.
And then with the recording, and I'm going to age myself, but it was recorded on a cassette tape. I just the little tape recorder,
Yeah,
and I,
yeah.
I just I just pressed record at the beginning, and then I gave this tape to somebody that typed it, Nowadays you don't have to do
Oh.
that. There are transcription services. It's super cheap, like 25 cents a minute. Like, it's super cheap now. You can just do that. And I've
Mm,
learned how to use these services back in my days, and it's going to age me, but it was a cassette tape. And and that's how I wrote Think Yourself Thin, because then the
mm,
bulk of it was written. I broke it down in chapter. I added things here and there, but that was so much easier. That most of my books are written that way. And you
mm,
can blog your way into a book as well. You write a blog, a short blog, maybe of 500 to 800 words every week, once a week, and then you post your blog. Well, maybe you get this transcription and this becomes a chapter in your book. Maybe
mhm,
you plan your book ahead. One of the book, what I do when I go to Palm Desert during the winter for 2 months, I usually write a book there. So I will collect a whole bunch of different things that I've done, the
mm.
recordings, get the transcription, put it all together. And one
Oh.
year, I wrote Think Yourself Healthy in Palm Desert. I was only there for 2 weeks. It was a very short trip, but I wrote this book in 2 weeks. So
Whoa.
this one, I wrote it because it was not, it was a bit different. It was 27 tips for a vibrant life. So I wrote, 2 or 3 tips every day. And that those are short tips. It's a small book. So this
Mm,
one I wrote every day. And the reason why I wrote it was
mhm,
because I thought 27 tips. This is 6 months of blog, right? So I did the
mm,
reverse. I wrote this book so that every week, instead of going, my newsletter gets sent on the Sunday. And every Saturday was like, okay, I don't have anything for tomorrow. What should I write about? What should I write about? Quit. I need an idea. So I had written this book in 2 weeks, 27 tips. And every Saturday, I would copy and paste a chapter or like one tip from my book, and that would
mm.
become my blog. So now I was set for 6 months.
Right.
Perfect. I have my
Right.
blog written for, so you can do either way. You can use your book as your blog, or you can use, like, I'm all about repurposing. It's
Mm.
my intellectual property. I'm allowed to
Yep,
use
yep,
my
yep,
stuff.
yep.
I wrote it,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right?
all yours. It's
Or
all
you
yours and
set
you
it,
can
you can put it on. And my every week I record a video that's my content for the week. Well, I extract the audio and it becomes my podcast, right? So I don't have to re-record another thing for my podcast.
mhm.
I extract 2 60 seconds extract, and these become some tips of the day for my short post on my social media. So then from one piece of content, I extract 7 different posts for the whole week on my social
Mm,
media. So
mm,
you don't have to recreate the wheel every day. And that's what I talk about in the Think Yourself a Marketing Pro, is my 15-step social media strategy.
mm.
So yeah.
And then one thing that stands out in your programs is like pretty much things are in steps. Is this something that you, I guess, discovered over the years of working on Think Yourself?
Yes, absolutely. So of course, uh, my main course is Think Yourself Confident. So the 15 keys to confidence. So these are all pieces from my experience with my clients, from the
Mm,
things that work best with the thousands of clients that I've had. And then the business courses, because I have different kind of courses. The business courses are exactly what I do. And they are the one thing that I guarantee with my, let's say, Think Yourself a Business Pro, Think Yourself a Marketing Pro. The one thing I guarantee is that you cannot copy and paste it to your business. You have to adapt it. What works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? So
mm.
I'm telling you what it is that I do. It's working. I'm making money every day on my phone, and my social media is working. And I wasn't always there. Like, I remember 5 years ago having hit my 5,000 followers on Facebook, thinking, haha, I'm going to make so much money now, I've got so many followers. And then I would post a video and I had 4,000 likes, and then people would comment, and that was not money in my bank account. That
Yeah.
wasn't. I'm very popular, people loved me, but
Hmm.
they didn't buy from me. So
Mm,
I figured it out. So I'm teaching what I know. Full disclosure, I'm not a marketing expert. It's not what I studied, but I spent a whole bunch of money learning these mistakes, and now I'm just
mm.
keeping people from making the same ones that I've done. So I'm
So
I'm just saying what it is that I do in my business.
exactly, exactly. You're taking yourself like over the years of putting in all this work I've put in, this is what I've learned. Do not make my mistakes.
Exactly. What not to do.
Oh man, at least so amazing talking to you. So one thing that also comes to me is you love talking a lot, like spoken at all these conferences. Like, do you have a few steps to prepare for when you have to address a massive crowd?
So one of the things that I can recommend is learn from the best. I have been a professional speaker for 12 years, and about 5 years ago, I joined CAPS. That's in Canada, or NSA in the States. CAPS is the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. I thought I was a professional speaker. I Because I had been speaking for like 7, 8 years when I joined CAPS, and I thought, well, I need to uh, join this organization because I'm a professional speaker.
Mm,
Oh my, I was not near what I could have been back in the days. Like I
mm,
did not know what I did not know, and I've learned
right.
the skills. I've learned the business of speaking. I've learned how to create stories. I've learned how to pause. I've learned how to, it's not just about the speaking business, it's about everything that goes behind the scene. How to write a contract, how to get paid your value, how to create checklist, how to be more funny. I did the CAP Speakers Academy. So CAPS has a speaker academy. It's a series of about 25 or so online videos that you do at your own pace. And did I ever learn a lot of things? I'm like, oh my gosh, like to how to build your PowerPoint slides, how to, like, there's so many things that I did not know that really brought me to another level. I used to charge $500 as a speaker, and I charge $7,000 now for a keynote.
Mm,
So it really transformed my business, my confidence as well, because the more skills you have, and the main piece is the friends that I've made in CAPS, because now
mm,
I hang out with people that do the same thing that I do, and we
mm,
really support each other. So if you are wanting to do more speaking, get into your local organization. There's different chapters in Canada of CAPS, and then there's NSA in the States, but along get around and hang out with people that are more successful than you in what
mm,
it is that you do. So whatever is your goal, this is for speaking, but if you want to be a great personal trainer, hang out with the best trainers that are there and learn from them. So
mm,
join the association of, like, join CanFit Pro, who is the Association of Canadian Fitness Professionals in Canada. So
mm,
make sure to surround yourself with people that are better than you are. And what I can do right now is offer your audience a free 15-minute call with me. Take those offers. When people say, "Hey, let's chat," or be brave and bold and ask somebody, "Hey, can I have a 15-minute call with you? I would like to ask you a few questions." People are generous. They like to
mm.
help. They like to learn, and I'm happy to have a free virtual coffee with your audience. We can put the link with this at thinkyourself.com/schedule. So you go there, thinkyourself.com/schedule, and then book a free 15-minute call with me. Take these opportunity, and let's see how we can tweak a few things in 15 minutes. A lot can be said,
Wow.
and a lot can be learned. So just learn, surround yourself with people that have been there. um,
Yeah. No, Netley, first off, grateful. And I'm going to make sure the link is right here. So anyone that wants to take that opportunity can go ahead and give you that call. And just, from chatting with you, you're unlocking so many things in my mind, especially those two steps of like, I used to be that person. This is what I'm building towards. It's pretty much life changing for me. So I can imagine what any a listener or any member of the audience is going to get from that 15-minute call.
awesome. And that's
The
one.
last,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
No,
That
go
is
ahead.
one step of the, I have 15 keys for
Holy smokes.
self-confidence. So, and well, the two-step technique is one thing. But
Yeah.
if you want to download the confidence guide, it does include 15 different keys to confidence and a few questions to ask you depending on the 6 layers of the brain. So go to thinkyourself.com/confidence guide. And then if you like that two-step technique, that was one thing, but there's 15 different keys for confidence. So if you want to go download the free guide, go ahead. So thinkyourself.com/slash confidence guide.
Wow. Wow. That is something free. I'm losing my mind. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, the last 18 months have been difficult just worldwide with COVID. Conferences, which, I'm sure you've done a lot over the years, kind of had to go online.
Sure.
And like people's mental health was like suffering a lot. What are some of the things you noticed, like with your business and like speaking, and things you had to tweak in the last couple of months that COVID changed?
Absolutely. The I would say it's interesting that you're mentioning, because the last part of your question is things that you needed to tweak in the last couple of months. I have to say, in the last couple of months, things are going back to in person. So now I have to rechange all the things that I had changed before, because I used to be in person. And what I had to change was a lot of ways to find interactions, a lot of ways to present in a specific way so that people would not get bored. So I did self teach myself on how to use Zoom with lots of different functionalities. So I'm changing my background. I have about 400 different backgrounds when I do a keynote, and
Mm,
then I switch my background super quickly with what it is that I'm talking about. So that's actually one of my course in the Think Yourself a Tech Pro, how to use your slides and your background so that people stay engaged. Because
mm,
otherwise on Zoom, people are like clipping their toenails and doing other stuff at the same time, and they're not paying attention. So, in order to captivate the attention, I needed to become more clear when I would speak. I needed maybe better quality equipment in my studio, and I needed to upskill a little bit in the virtual presentation, finding ways to do breakout rooms, finding ways to have polls and to engage people even virtually. How to do a draw? How do you do a draw on a Zoom room? How do you like? There was a lot of things that I had no clue that I was in person easily doing. Like everybody fill out the coupon,
mm,
put it in the box, and we'll pick. It was easy, but you can't do that on Zoom. So
mm.
I found different things. So these are all the things I needed to tweak.
Yeah.
And now I was just speaking at a keynote in Calgary where I was back on a stage, and now I had to rechange, in my script as I'm saying. Usually I would say, write this yes in the chat if you think that, but I can't say write yes in the chat on a stage, right? So now I
Yeah.
needed to re-script everyththing. Lift your hand up. It's, I can, they're there. I can see them.
Right.
So yeah, it's, I had to uh, re, rechange. It's not the same jokes. You don't have the
Right.
same jokes, online than in person. So anyway, those
Wow.
are the things that had to change.
Okay, Natalie, this has been amazing. I'm just having a wonderful time learning so much. You're making me laugh. I'm having a swell time. I'm gonna let you go with this question now. People, listening, watching, are gonna reach out, and there's still something that where there's just like a little bit of this fear we have, like a fear of rejection. Like I want to say apply to talk at a conference, and there's this side of my mind saying nobody's going to listen to what you have to say, or even to have like a friendship with someone. Like that rejection is something that personally, and I know a lot of people I talk to, is something they experience, and I'm pretty sure some of your clients have dealt with things like rejection. Asking this last question on a very selfish note, what are some things that people can do to deal with rejection?
So what we need to understand is life is just a big statistic. So Life is just about learning. All we're doing every day is we get up and we learn. We don't
Mm,
fail, we learn.
mm,
So when there's a rejection, let's say, I was speaking in Calgary last week, and when I collect the coupons for the draw, I
mm,
have 4 boxes on my coupon, and one box says, I want to win the thing, so check. I want to sign up for Natalie's weekly tips. Check. I want to book a virtual coffee with Natalie, free 15 minutes. Check. And the last one is I am awesome because I want them to acknowledge that they are awesome, right? So they check the box. Now, my stats are the following. If there's 100 people in the room, I will collect 92 coupons. 8 people are rejecting me. They don't even
mm,
want to win my thing, right? Do I go home and cry because 8 people did not even want to fill up the coupon, or because 2 people even left while I was on stage?
mm.
I don't know why they left. In my book, she had to go pick up her daughter. They always have to go pick up their daughter. You know what I mean? That's it. Because I don't know. I'm making it up. Might as well
Right,
make up something that works for me. Okay.
right.
It's not a good timing. She had to go pick up her daughter. That's it, right? And if
Mm,
somebody rolls their eyes as I'm speaking, it's because I just said something that is totally in contradiction with what their mom used to say. And they say, oh my gosh, my mom was so wrong. This girl is right, right? You making it up. You don't know why they roll their eyes, okay?
right.
Make it up that works for you because it has to serve you. We're making up stuff all the time. So this
Mm,
rejection, I'll keep going. 76% of people sign up for my newsletter, right?
mm,
Do I go home and cry because 24% of people did not want to sign up for my newsletter and say, "Oh, they hated me." No, these are my numbers. Life is a stat.
mm,
And I know that out of the room, 25 people don't even want to hear from me anymore. And
mm.
74 will. Out of the whole room, there's 42 people normally. Those are my stats because I've been tracking. I'm a nerd. That's what I do. I've been tracking for 11 years, and that's my average. It took me a while to get to that point, but 24 people will say yes to a virtual coffee. And out of these 24 people, 42 people, sorry, 42 people have say yes to the virtual coffee, but out of these 42 people, 24 will actually sign up. They all check yes that they wanted to
Oh.
have the virtual coffee, but when I send them
Mhm.
the link to book, only 24 will actually book, right? So these
Mm.
20 people that actually book the virtual coffee, there's about 6 of them out of 20 that will sign up for something with me. They will buy a course or sign up for my courses. These are my stats, these are my numbers. So
Mm.
there's 14 people that I will have a virtual coffee with them for free. Out of the 100 that I spoke to, I will have a coffee with 14 of them that I will never see again. And that's
Mm.
fine. These are my stats. I'm happy with that because the 6 of them I will convert. And that's that
Mm.
those are my stats. So you know your rate. Do I go to an event and say, "Oh my gosh, they didn't like me." No, it's just a stat. So what are your stats? Start tracking. Start asking. Like for a relationship, you want to ask somebody out. Well, see how many people you need to ask before the one says yes, and then that's your
Mm.
stat. you know, right? So you want to you have to suggest your services to a lot of people before one hires you. What is your stat? What is your conversion rate? Figure it
Mm.
out, and then follow
Mm.
your stat. Right. So in that way,
Wow.
this is the business way. The fear factor is understanding that fear is a powerful emotion. It's only there to bring you a lesson, to bring you a positive learning. So
Mm.
when you are uncomfortable going and ask for a speaking engagement,
Mm.
when you feel that, just tell yourself, "Oh my gosh, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like it. That's not what I do." Just ask yourself, "Okay, if I do this for 3 months and 6 months, what will I become good at? What will I
Mm.
have learned? What's my gift?" It's like when you feel uncomfortable, a powerful emotion, fear, anger, sadness, guilt, all these powerful emotions, like we're talking about fear here. It's like there's a delivery truck in your driveway that's there waiting to give you a package, right? So what's in the package? Because if you want the truck to leave the driveway, you have to receive the package. But most
Mm-hmm.
times we're like, oh no, I'm just pretending everything is going to be fine. And then you smile, you're in front of your clients or you're in front of your friends, everything is good. And then you go home, your daughter says, are you okay, mom? Oh yeah, everything's fine, everything's good. And you smile,
Mm,
and then you avoid the package. The truck is still there in the driveway, but you don't, you just don't do it. And I'm
mm,
comfortable. I'm comfortable asking people to go speak for them, and I could never do this. So then you avoid it, and the truck stays there. You're still uncomfortable. So
mm,
just open the package and say, what will I become good at? What's my positive learning here? I guess
mm,
I guess once I've done it, I will become good at asking people on how to apply for a speaking engagement. And when I
mm.
become good at it, I'll be doing it much easier. Like the first Zoom call we had 2 years ago, it was like, okay, where do I click? Okay, I'm ready. Okay, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's easy now. You go on a Zoom call, click, easy. We became better at it. So just ask yourself, what am I learning? Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
What am I learning? This is again super enlightening, super eye opening, mind blowing. Natalie, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and for sharing your time. I'm really, really grateful having you in the sanctuary. And I'll make sure the link is there so people can, reach out for that virtual coffee with you.
Perfect.
Again, thank you, and I can't wait for your session. I can just sign up with the Comfy Pro ones. I can't wait
It's
to
this
learn.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's this
exactly. I
Friday.
can't
Think
wait to
yourself a
learn.
sales pro. We're doing sales now. Think yourself
Right,
a
right,
sales
right.
pro on Friday. Yes.
Yeah. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Thank you so much.